Despite track and field being one of the largest participated sports worldwide, it's one of the only sports that's this big that doesn't exist professionally. In 2018, the number of participants in track and field just in the United States from the age 6 years old and up was calculated to be around 4.1 million people. And that was 6 years ago. Today, it's calculated to be around 5 million people just in the United States alone, which makes it one of the highest participated sports in the world. Let's put this into perspective. With 4 million people competing in track and field, let's just say each person has at least 3 friends and family members who like to see them run. That's 12 million fans. These 12 million fans have to come pay to see you run in track meets. And let's just say that there's 200,000 people competing post-collegiately, or what some of y'all may consider pro, which doesn't exist in track and field. Let's just say each post-collegiate athlete has 5 people in their family or in their friend group who want to see them compete. That's 1 million fans for track and field. After asking around, I finally found the real reason track and field athletes are broke. And the answer is fairly simple. Despite the sport of track and field generating so much revenue annually, and all the higher ups in the sports, from the media companies to the people who put on track meets, the agents, everybody generating hella revenue, when it comes to the track and field athletes, they simply hate money, and that's the reason why they don't get any. And it's that simple. But let me break it down a little bit more so even a baby could understand. It's no secret that the biggest track and field competition in the world is the Olympic Games. And this is a very relevant piece of information because the Olympics is an amateur competition, which means as United States athletes, you do not receive any compensation for your participation in the Olympics. The only thing that's guaranteed for you participating in the Olympics is free gear and you being able to put Olympian in your social media bios. Each country has the option to compensate its athletes, in which the United States does not. And the highest compensation received from the United States when it comes to the Olympics is $37,000 for winning a gold medal. So if you show up to the Olympics and you become the best in the world, you receive $37,000 from the United States. And this is why I say the track and field athletes hate money, and it's more of a clout-based sport than a revenue-based sport. Clout-based, you could be asking, what do I mean by that? Athletes that compete in track and field rather be seen and known and have a big name rather than have money to take care of themselves and their family. Majority of the other sports competed in that are large, people participate in these sports because it's fun and also they can do it to provide for their families. People have aspirations and goals in competing in the highest level of these sports because they know the money that it'll bring in. But in track and field at the highest level, you don't bring in money. You just bring in attention. And this is the real reason track and field athletes are broke, because they don't do it for money, they do it for clout. But despite wanting clout, everyone gets hungry. And everyone eventually needs shelter and a place to stay. And track and field athletes tend to realize this once it's too late. Because everyone in track, well, the majority of people who compete in track, you have that 1% who's actually making decent money. But despite that 1%, you still have 99% who are living check to check, meet to meet, and barely making ends meet. I posted a video talking about how going to the Olympics really isn't worth it. And I had people who competed in the last Olympics in track and field who were agreeing that they spent all of their time, money, and effort training for the Olympics, and all they really got is to say that they were Olympian. And some of these people were actually medalists from the Olympics. But this one comment really stood out to me, and I feel like this is the general thought when it comes to track and field amongst the runners. The comment read, "Crazy concept. This might go over your head, but some people don't do things just for money." And the bottom comment was my exact thought. That's your first mistake. When it comes to track, you spend years training. You spend thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, especially when it comes to the Olympics. Just the Olympic team, you got to spend tens of thousands of dollars on dope just to make the team. Then you also spend thousands on training, thousands on nutrition. And you mean to tell me you not going to get nothing in return financially? You done invested all of these thousands and a return on investment is zero? When the hell does reality set in for track runners? How could you hate money so much to where you dish out thousands of dollars, up to hundreds of thousands of dollars, see nothing in return and be okay with that? The only thing you get to do is get free gear. You're pretty much spending tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars on USA gear and a title that you can put in your bio on social media. I feel like that's the most idiotic thing that you could ever do. No other sport does that. If people train for the NFL all their life, from little league football to middle school to high school football, and they put in all this time, all this training, all of these investments just to make it to the NFL, receive zero compensation, just to get to say that they're an NFL player for the attention. And don't get me wrong, attention is cool, but you can't pay your bills with attention. You can't eat attention. I've never seen attention turn into shelter. Six-time Olympic medalist Jackie Joyner Kersee did an interview with New York radio station Ebro in the Morning. And she talked about track and field runners receive endorsements. And these endorsements aren't worth anything compared to the time and effort and money spent that they have to use training for the Olympics. Also pointed out the fact that a lot of these people who compete in track post-collegiately are signed to a lot of these shoe companies where they aren't even receiving any financial benefit. They're just signing for the gear. So while we be seeing these people signing these endorsement deals where we thinking they're getting money for them, and the whole time they're just receiving gear from them. So the majority of people who compete in track aren't in the 1%. The 1% is doing fine financially. But I just feel like it blows me how much a sport could be so big, full of people who hate money. But maybe one day the professionalism in track will somehow exist. But there is no such thing as professional track and field. It's all amateur. Because in every other sport, if you're a professional, you compete for money. Hence the term pro. But in track, the majority of the time you're competing for free. And that's from the Olympics to the regular season meets that majority of people in track compete in. Every track and field meet that I've been to since I've been in college pretty much had pros competing. And they receive no money for coming to these meets, no money for running at these meets. So you just got to think about it as a post-collegiate athlete. If you run for free the majority of the time, if I'm a company, why would I pay you any money if you run for free anyways? Whether I pay you or whether I don't, you're still going to run. So I might as well not pay you and keep the money for myself. And that's why I say professionalism doesn't exist in track. You just have people competing after college. Some meets award prize money. The majority don't. But at the end of the day, they're still going to run. But that's the end of this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If there's any videos you want to see me make, comment them down below in the comments. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and go get your merch at thespiderstore.org.